Hello friends, welcome to Virtual Reality Essentials video tutorials series. In this video tutorial, we are going to understand how to use other game object as trigger object in Google VR for Unity. So how do we use other game object as trigger object? First, we create an Android project in Unity. And how do we create an Android project in Unity, guys? We create one new 3D project in Unity, then we switch the project to Android platform by going to File menu, Build Settings, choose Android platform, click on Switch Platform button. I minimize the word. I search for Unity Hub. You can see that Unity Hub is launched. I click on New button, choose the version. Then I choose here 3D template. I give project name VR demo project. We save this project at the desktop. I click on create button. It is creating VR demo project at the desktop. You can see that VR demo project is open inside the Unity editor. At present, target build platform is set to PC, Mac and Linux standalone. Let me change it to Android. I go to File menu, Build Settings. I choose here Android platform. Click on Switch Platform button. I close the window. You can see that target build platform is set to Android. So that is how we create an Android project in Unity. Next, what we do? Next, we download and import Google VR for Unity package. You have to download the latest Google VR for Unity package by visiting to this link, guys. You can see that I have already downloaded Google VR for Unity 1.200.1 Unity package. Next, what we do? We are going to import the downloaded Google VR for Unity package to the project. I'm going to select this, drag and drop it on the assets folder. Then I click on import button. Once the Google VR for Unity package is imported, you must see Google VR folder inside the assets folder, guys. This folder contains all the required resources for creating the virtual reality application, guys. Next, what we do? Next, we convert our Android project to virtual reality supported project. We go to edit menu, project settings, we select player, go to XR settings section, check virtual reality supported, and then we add cardboard to the virtual reality SDKs list. I go to edit menu, project settings, I select here player, go to XR settings section, I check virtual reality supported, and then I click on the plus symbol, add the cardboard to virtual reality SDKs list. I close it. That is how we are going to convert our Android project to virtual reality supported project, guys. Next, what we do? We convert our Unity scene to VR scene. At present, our Unity scene is the normal Unity scene, which has just the main camera and directional light. If I click on the play button and hold down the Alt and move the mouse, nothing is changing in the world. You can see that. I stop it. Let me go to Word. To convert Unity scene to VR scene, we drag and drop the GVR editor emulator prefab to the hierarchy window. What do? We search for GVR editor emulator prefab. We drag and drop it in the hierarchy window. GVR editor emulator prefab has the camera controls. That means if you hold down the Alt and move the mouse, you can look around the scene. If you hold down the control and move the mouse, you can roll around the Z axis, guys. Next, we are going to drag and drop GVR event system prefab to the hierarchy window. So what do? We search for GVR event system prefab. We drag and drop it inside the hierarchy window, which is responsible for handling all the VR events. If I click on the play button and hold down the Alt and move the mouse, I can see up, I can see down, I can see left, I can see right. If I hold down the control and move the mouse, I can roll around the Z axis. So that's what the GVR editor emulator does, guys. If you carefully observe, if I select the main camera, its position is set to 0, 1, minus 10, right? 0, 1, minus 10. When I click on the play button, check out what happens. Our camera moves from its original position to the world origin, right? It is moving to 0, 0, 0.08, right? I stop it. What if you do not want the camera to move to the world origin? You don't want to place it with respect to the world origin. You want to make the camera to stay in its original place. For that, we have to create one empty game object. We name it as character, and then we make the main camera as the child of the character. When we make the main camera as the child of the character, definitely we know that main camera is placed with respect to the character, with respect to its parent, right? We select the character, go to game object menu and say center on children. Let me go here. I'm going to create one empty game object. I say game object create empty and we name it as character. Okay, that's our empty game object. And then we make the main camera as the child of the character. Okay, I select the character. You can see that character XYG000. I go to game object menu and say center on children. Now the character value is set to 0, 1, minus 10. Now main camera is placed with respect to the character. So it is placed at the origin of the character, not at the origin of the world, guys. If I click on the play button, you see that the camera stays in its place, right? The camera is not moving to the world origin, right? So that is how you make the camera to stay in its place. You just create one empty game object, make the main camera as the child of the empty game object, and select the empty game object, go to game object menu and say center on children. Okay, next we are going to add GVR reticle pointer prefab as the child of the main camera, and we change the color to red. So what do? We search for GVR reticle pointer. I click and drag it on main camera. GVR reticle pointer is the child of the main camera, and we change its color to red. We change its color to red. When I click on the play button, you must see a reticle pointer in the scene, right? You should see in the game you will have one reticle pointer. If you hold down the Alt and move the mouse, the reticle pointer also moves up and down. You can see that it moves left and right, right? So reticle pointer is created in front of the main camera, guys. Okay. Next, what do? Next, we are going to add GVR pointer physics raycaster component to the main camera. What do? We select the main camera, we click on add component and search for GVR pointer physics raycaster. We select it. So what it does actually, it casts a physics ray from the main camera passing through the reticle pointer. It casts a ray from the main camera in the forward direction passing through the reticle pointer, guys, which is very useful to check for some events. Okay, that is how we actually convert our Unity scene into the VR scene, guys. Next, we understand how do we use other game object as trigger object. How do we use other game object as trigger object? So what do? We create one cube with the name ground. Okay, let's create a cube with the name ground. I go to game object menu and say 3D object cube. Okay, and I rename it to ground. And then I scale it in x-axis by 20. I scale it in z-axis by 20. Okay, so that's how our scene looks. I move the ground little down and little forward. Okay, next I'm going to create a spotlight. Let's create a spotlight, guys. I go to game object menu, light, spotlight, and I rename it to spotlight, and then I place it properly so that we should be able to see it. Okay, we should be able to see it. Where is it actually? So let's move it up and a little bit left. I drag it, or maybe here, and then I increase the intensity to 10. Okay, let's place it a little bit more up. Okay, so we are getting a smooth radius. Okay, so that's how we create a spotlight. Next, what we do? Next, we are going to create one more cube with the name switch. We create one more cube with the name switch. I go to game object menu, 3D object cube, and I rename it to switch. Let me scale it in z-axis by 0.5. Okay, I scaled in z-axis by 0.5, and then I place it at the top of the spotlight somewhere here. So this is our switch, which is going to work as a trigger object, guys. When we move the pointer on this switch, the spotlight will become active or inactive. We see step by step. Okay. Next, we are going to create one empty game object with the name switch controller. I go to game object menu and say 3D. Just create an empty game object. I rename it to switch controller. Okay. Next, what we do? We are going to create one C# script with the name switch controller, guys. So I go to assets, right click, create a folder with the name scripts. I open the scripts folder, right click on it, say create C# script. I name it switch controller. Switch controller.cs file is created. I select the switch controller and attach it. So we are attaching the switch controller.cs file or switch controller script to switch controller game object, guys. Understanding? So we have created the switch controller script and attached it to switch controller game object. Next, we are going to write the code, guys. And what do we do in the code? First, we get the reference to the spotlight. Okay, let me go to the Unity, double click on switch controller.cs file or the script to open it inside the Visual Studio. You can see that it is open inside the Visual Studio, and I am going to delete the unnecessary code. I delete this code from here. Okay. Inside the class, I am going to create one public game object spotlight. Okay. We use this variable to get the reference to spotlight. I say Control S to save and go to Unity. I select the switch controller game object, and you should see our switch controller script is asking for the spotlight. Okay, so what do? We assign the spotlight game object to spotlight property of switch controller script in the inspector, guys. So what do? We give this spotlight to the spotlight property of the switch controller script. Now our spotlight variable is referring to that spotlight in the scene. Next, what we do? We are going to create one boolean variable called as isSpotlightActive. Okay, so we create one boolean variable with the name isSpotlightActive. So we use this variable to check out whether the spotlight is already active. If it is active, we make it inactive. If it is inactive, we make it active by using this isSpotlightActive variable, guys. Okay. Next, we create one function called as onPointerEnter function. So let's create here public void onPointerEnter function. Okay. In the onPointerEnter function, what we do is first we check out whether the spotlight is active or inactive. We get the status of the spotlight. So we say here isSpotlightActive equals to spotlight.activeSelf. So what happens here? At present, you can see that in our scene, the spotlight is active, right? It is active. So what happens? Spotlight.activeSelf returns true. So true is stored inside isSpotlightActive variable. Understanding? Next, what we do? We are going to say isSpotlightActive equal to not isSpotlightActive. What do? I'm going to copy this and paste down. isSpotlight equal to not isSpotlightActive. So what happens in this case, you should understand. We have not isSpotlightActive, right? At present, isSpotlightActive has the value true. So isSpotlightActive is replaced by the value true. And not true means what? Not true means false. So now what happens? False is stored inside the isSpotlightActive variable. Okay. Next, what we do? We set the active status of the spotlight by giving this variable isSpotlightActive. So what do we say here? Spotlight dot set active isSpotlightActive variable we give. So what we are doing here? We are giving this false here. So what happens? Spotlight becomes inactive. Spotlight set active false. So we are giving here false to this. So spotlight becomes inactive, guys. So this onPointerEnter function, the VR is going to execute whenever the pointer moves on that switch cube, guys. Let's assume if the spotlight is inactive. Okay, assume that spotlight is inactive. Okay, so when on pointer enter function is executed, what happens? Spotlight.active self gives false. False is stored inside eSpotlight active first. And then we are saying eSpotlight active equal to not eSpotlight active. So we are giving here not false. eSpotlight active is false. So not false means true. So what happens? True is assigned to eSpotlight active. And then spotlight.set active, we are giving here true. So what happens? Spotlight becomes active. That means this function, what it does, if spotlight is active, it makes it inactive. If it is inactive, it makes it active, guys. So that's what this function does, on pointer enter function does. Okay, so we have written on pointer enter function. That's great. Let me select the spotlight and make it active. Let's proceed further. We have already assigned the spotlight game object to spotlight property of the switch controller script. Next, what we do, we add event trigger component to the switch. So what do? We select the switch and we go here, click on add component, search for event trigger component. Once we add event trigger component to a game object, it becomes a trigger object. That means when we move the pointer on the switch, okay, when we move the pointer on the switch, whatever event we give here, it is going to be triggered, guys. Okay, let's see. Next, what we do, we click on add new event type button and choose the pointer enter event. So what do? We click on add new event type and choose the pointer enter event. Okay. Next, what we do, we click on the plus symbol, assign switch controller game object to pointer enter. So what do? We click on the plus symbol, we give switch controller game object to it. Okay, we give switch controller because switch controller game object has the switch controller script. We are giving it to the pointer enter event. And then from that, we are going to choose on pointer enter function. So what do? We choose from the switch controller script, we choose on pointer enter function. So what happens when we move the reticle pointer on the switch? Okay, when we move the reticle pointer on this switch game object, which is actually a trigger object, what it does, it triggers the pointer enter event. Okay, and what happens from the switch controller script, on pointer enter function will be executed. So what it does, if spotlight is active, it makes it inactive. If it is inactive, it makes it active. So whenever the pointer enters the switch game object, okay, on pointer enter function will be called and executed. If the spotlight is active, it makes it inactive. If it is inactive, it makes it active, guys. So let's click on the play button and check out. Now, if I move the mouse pointer, or you can say the reticle pointer, over the switch game object, you should see the light is off, right? If I go back again, the light is on. You'll see that off, on. So like that, you can use the other game object as a trigger object, guys. So here we are using this switch game object as a trigger for the spotlight, right? So that is how you will be using the other game object as a trigger object in Google VR application, guys. I hope you guys have clearly understood. I think for this video tutorial, this much is enough, friends. In the upcoming video tutorials, we are going to discuss more about virtual reality. I suggest you people to try this yourself, experiment with more examples. If you like this video, hit the like button and share with your friends so that everyone will get benefited. For more benefits and be up to date, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Keep learning, keep coding, keep sharing. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial.